Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dinavantu Jagapate, Gopisha Gopika Pranta, Radha Kanta Namaste, Vrishabham Sukhi Pramapati, Panchakapatu Vecha, Vasu Vecha, Atinanam Pavani, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hari
Hi Sakshat Bhagavan Sharinam Atma Yasanam Iva Toyam Ipsitam Hitva Mahams Tam Yadi Sajate Grihe Tada Mahatvam Vayasa Dampatinam Harirhi Sakshat Bhagavan Saririnam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharinam
Harirhi Sakshat Bhagavan Saririnam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharinam
Atma Jasanam Ivatoyam Ipsitam
Atma Jasanam Ivatoyam Ipsitam
Atma Jasanam Ivatoyam Ipsitam
Atma Jasanam Ivatoyam Ipsitam
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
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 Tada Mahatvam Vayasatam Dampatinam
Tada Mahatvam Vayasatam Patinam
Tada Mahatvam Vayasatam Patinam
Tada Mahatvam Vayasatam Patinam
Hariri Sakshat Bhagavan Saririnam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam
Atma Jasanam Ivatoyam Ipsitam
Atma Jasanam Ivatoyam Ipsitam
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam Patinam
Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam Patinam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam
Atma Jasanami Vatoyam Ipsitam
Atma Jasanami Vatoyam Ipsitam
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam Patinam
Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam Patinam Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam Atma Jasanami Vatoyam Ipsitam Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam Patinam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam
Atma Jasanami Vatoyam Ipsitam
Atma Jasanami Vatoyam Ipsitam
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam
Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam
Patinam
Patinam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Sharinam
Hari Sakshat Bhagavan Shahirinam
Atma Jasanamiva Toyam Ipsitam
Atma Jasanamiva Toyam Ipsitam
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Hitva Mahamstam Yadi Sajyate Grihe
Tada Mahatvam Vayasadam
Tada Mahatvam
Patinam
Vayasadam Patinam
Hari
Hari
the Lord.
the Lord
He
He
sort of like
certainly,
Sakshat,
Sakshat,
directly,
directly,
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Saririnam,
Sharirinam,
of all living entities
of all living entities
who have accepted material bodies,
who have accepted material bodies,
Atma,
Atma,
the life and soul,
the life and soul,
Yasanam,
Jasanam,
of the aquatics,
of the aquatics,
Eva,
Eva,
like
like
Toyam,
Toyam,
the vast water,
the vast water,
Ipsitam,
Ipsitam,
his desire,
his desire,
Hitva,
Hitva,
giving up,
giving up,
Maham,
Maham,
a great personality,
a great personality,
Tam,
Tam,
him,
him,
Yadi,
Yadi,
if,
if,
Sajate,
Sajate,
becomes attached,
becomes attached,
Grihe,
Grihe,
to a household life,
powers in life,
Tada,
Tada,
at that time,
that time,
Mahatman,
Mahatma,
greatness, Vayasa,
Vayasa,
by age,
by age,
Dampatinam,
Dampatinam,
of the husband and wife.
the husband and
Translation. Just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Purport. All the crocodiles are very fierce animals. They are powerless when they venture out of the water onto land. When they are out of water, they cannot exhibit their original power. Similarly, the all-pervading Supersoul Paramatma is the source of all living entities, and all living entities are part and parcel of Him. When the living entity remains in contact with the all-pervading Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, he manifests his spiritual power exactly as the crocodile exhibits its strength in the water. In other words, the greatness of the living entity can be perceived when he is in the spiritual world. When he is in the spiritual world engaged in spiritual activities. Many householders, although well educated in the knowledge of the Vedas, become attached to family life. They are compared herein to crocodiles out of water, for they are devoid of all spiritual strength. Their greatness is like that of a young husband and wife, who, though uneducated, praise one another and become attracted to their own temporary beauty. This kind of greatness is appreciated only by low-class men with no qualifications. Everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul, the source of all living entities. No one should waste his time in the so-called happiness of materialistic household life. In the Vedic civilization, this type of crippled life is it's allowed only until one's 50th year, when one must give up family life and enter either the order of vanaprastha, independent, retired life for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, or sannyas, the renounced order in which one completely takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the verse was Hariri Sakshat Bhagavan Saririna Atmaja Saranam Ihatoyam Ipsitam Itlamaham Stam Vedi Sajate Grihe Tadamahatvam Vayasa Kampatayam. Just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class cattle. One who is too attached to material life loses all those spiritual qualities. Hare Krishna. Anand tells me to give a short, sweet class. I bet that is so sweet. So the spiritually ambitious devotees and people. This is, we're coming to the end of the prayer, or the prayer instructions for the demons. This is connected with Prahlad Maharaj and Shingadev prayers. And it's like the next verse. Remember this. I read that, that's no purpose. I read that verse also. Then that's not a search. It's okay? You do that? Okay. Doesn't disturb your routines too much. Text 14. Tasmad radyo raga visara manyu manas priha vayati danya dimura natmura Itvagrihan samsriti shakravalam Vishimya adam pareta kuto vayam iti. Therefore, O demons, give up the so-called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nishingadev, which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of material attachment. Indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of which result in the repetition of birth and death. I guess that's Hare Krishna. We can say we are coming from the countries of Melechas and Yavanas, I don't know if they're demons. In modern society, we can say the modern society is very much demonic because it's very much centered on, well, it's not even centered on grihastha life, on household life. It's just simply centered on sense gratification. In the modern latest version of human society. so-called human society, because it's not really a human society, wherein self-realization is totally neglected and kind of covered over. So, sense gratification, that's the thing. And you should know one thing, that if you look at the I think if you look at the TV and in the media so like that, you don't have, at least, you don't have people who's over 60 years as models or as speakers. Like in general, people over 60 years are not so popular in newspapers and TV shows and like that. Because they're just useless. They're getting useless for sense gratification. And you know, they just get sick and complain about the diseases, and they don't consume in the way as a young people, you know, buying new things, getting new things, out running and jumping and whatever, climbing mountains and traveling here and there. Okay, maybe the old people, you have these Americans, rich Americans going on these cruise ships around the world. That's maybe what they can consume. Okay, so, but here's example with aquatics. Aquatics are happy in the water. Out of the water, they're not happy. That, because here probably use example of the crocodile for some reason. Sometimes we just use the example of the story about the fish. You put him on land, you can do all kind of things to him. Actually, that's a good. You can do all kind of things to the poor fish, so he shouldn't feel unhappy and alone. You can feed him all kind of things, but the point is, unless it gets back into the right element, it's not happy. So that, now of course we may say, well, we feel that when we are in this material world and this material society, these modern cities are so wonderful, they may say, well, I feel at home there, it's my home. Maybe we think. But actually, the need for a home is inherent in the living being. So there's longing for a home, so that we can say, as we create homes, grihasta, ashram, a green, a house, but then again, and this is a house or a room or something like that without a wife is not a home. It's just a house or a room. But once you put a wife into it, it becomes a home. It becomes homely. Start to put up curtains and paint the walls and carpets and I don't know, vases with flowers. Then it becomes a home. Prabhus, they don't understand this. They don't have the same feeling for it, you know. People, they're just practical many times. Okay, so home. And here, okay. So but we like to feel at home. We like to be at home in a way. So we go for imagine. We can, in one sense, we can call it an imaginary home from the spiritual point of view. We call it imaginary home. We're not being fully reliant because it's a home in which we cannot stay. Now here is hard words and hard words. Well, do we tell me in this purple at least? You know, Prabhupada say, 50 years you should leave home. You should take sannyas before it's too late. Well, you shouldn't take too early either, but once you shouldn't wait too long because then we can weaken body and weaken mind. And we become a Krišna, yes, Dhritarashtra sits in the palace, and of course he's blind and helpless or whatever, and then his brother has to come and save him from the inglorious situation where he is living at the cost of those whom he tried to kill. And he is blind, but that was from birth, and then the kidneys, the liver and the teeth is falling out or something. And then he's still hanging on. And then his brother comes to get out. In the last minute, getting him out, like out of a burning house. The house is burning, yes, but it's my house. Don't touch it. And then they say, hey, get out. No, stay here. They like it. There was some floods some years ago in Ljubljana. Maybe that was 2014. And then I did the old people, of course there's many old people, what are you going to do? Then they come and tell you have to get out of your house, the flood is coming. So now, I stay in my house. And of course for them the point was, without my house, what's my worth? What is my life worth living in any case? You can just better stay in the house and the house is destroyed, I'm destroyed. In any case, I'm without that house. So that's one logic in the matter. Another thing is that they're being so attached, so that they rather would stay in the house even though the flood is coming, you've got to wash the house away. So that way we can say we are called to get out of the burning house. Get out before it's too late. And then we may say, well, you know, okay, and then because ISKCON is such a great place, there's all kind of things going on. You think, hey, Prabhu, you were supposed to come to Vrindavan to take renounce, and now you got married again with the kid. Someone is 50 years or something. These kind of things happen. Because that's not good. Okay, so the point was that at one point you have to get out of the house in any case, okay? If you wait long enough, it will carry out in a coffin. Or maybe a coffin, you know, coffin. Well, it will carry out in a stretcher, you know. Okay, he died happily in his house. But you don't die happily in your house. Death is not happy. Getting older. And then you start to lose your memory and all those things happens. So the idea is that in this body, one sense, okay, we stay in it to take care of the needs, the socialization. Okay, that's one thing. In the Vedic culture, you did get married, but in the modern society, they don't even get married, so to say. It's just sense gratification and thus wasting the opportunities for self-realization. At one point or another, we will in any case have to get out of the home or out of the body, out of the comfortable situation. Because we are living in a society, that is the point, we're living in a society that is kind of adverse to self-realization. Because still, like in Sweden, they give you a pension. What's giving you a pension at least? Still is, let's see. So you may get a pension, but then you should take opportunity for self-realization. Because now we're here with devotees, we understand. We don't understand. And then in India, of course, in one sense, it was a culture. We can also say the advantage there was a culture that supported self-realization, at least it was. And maybe still is remnants of that culture that support self-realization. Like still now, at least in Braj, I walk around as a, I was in this Braj Mandala Parikram, you know, people address us, Baba, Baba, where you going? Or you can knock on the door. I don't think knock on the door, just check out if it starts at lunchtime or something, and ask if they have any devotees, and they say yes, please. Or they have their house, and house camp. The devotees just can house, and not really house, it was a small porch, and you know, they just devotees went, they just sat down, and we take a snack here. And I thought, well, you know, you can't just walk on to someone's house like that and sit down. And then someone came, oh, here's Sadhus, oh, how great. And then they called the child, the head child, come here, so please bless him. So there is a different mentality. So if you ask for some help, something, you know, some chapati, something, they happily supply it. They happily supply it to the sadhus or pilgrims. So that's beautiful. Of course, we haven't. Well, it could happen here also. We are so much more locked up in our small boxes, in our small houses, in our small flats. You open the door and they ask, who's there? Oh no, we don't want any books here. But it could also be, if you depend on Krishna, Krishna someone other will supply you here also. Okay, I shouldn't speak too much, I have to practice it myself. Yeah, we should depend on Krishna. So we are fish out of water in this material world. So yeah, but we want to, there's inherent feeling that we want to come home, and that actually is a feeling of coming home back to God, to the spiritual world, kind of forcefully projected into this material existence. So there, I read someone like, this feeling of want to come home is very strong. And then there was someone, as an example was given, someone letting out from the prison house or something like that. And he really had no home to go to, was no home to go to. They just let out of the prison, the time is out, and then, okay, what do you want to do when you get out? Come home, go home. But the point is, the guy didn't have any home. But the instinct was to want to go home, so that's my point. So our spiritual instinct is that we want to go home, and that's forcefully reflected in this world now. We can take that, yes, we want to go back to Krishna, be in our right element, and then we will be strong. And then we can also say, like, being together with devotees and devotee association gives us strength. In karmi association, extensive karmi materialistic, we may, our spiritual strength practicing at least will be undermined subtly or grossly. So therefore, at least we can say, oh nice, there's a temple. It's a spiritual world, it's a bunch of temples, there's going time, there's worship, and there's kata, and things like that. So that takes shelter of that. It should be a home. Not a home for sense gratification, but for self-realization. And maybe sometimes a home, it's tough to be in the home sometimes. Husband and wife's quarrels and things, and maybe between the devotees also there's maybe some quarrel or something. But still, I feel now this is our home, this is our place where we belong, spiritually, and there, in that association, we give our strength, reminding each other, supporting, encouraging each other. You can come here, you can wear tilak, you don't have to worry about wearing tilak. You're most welcome to put on tilak, or a dhoti, or shave your head or something. There's in other places if you can have a tea, I can do this and that. Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome home. I call that the Buddha. It's beautiful word. And I used to say, what is we have all time in the world. We have all the time in the world, but we have no time to waste. We can't afford to waste time. But it's not that we don't have time, we have plenty of time. Just not to waste. We should use it for Krishna or for our self-realization. One way or another. Connect with Krishna, with his devotees, with our home. And then of course here, we are part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is in the heart of all living entities. So Krishna is not far away. So one way you can say that home is not far away either. I mean, I would say, it's a matter of what direction you go. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any question, comment? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for this lecture. Although I try, I still am on bodily platform, which means I suffer after a few years practicing Krishna consciously week. How to put myself out of the center and really start thinking of pleasing Guru or Krishna. It just seems at the moment like mission impossible, I'm afraid. And really entangled in this family life.
Yeah, well, the example that we are giving of, low-class young couple. So, you may be a couple, but it should not be a low-class couple. It should be understanding, but you understand, of course, what's the purpose of life and these things. So, we should not be low-class, we should be high-class. There may be couples, there may be households which are high class, good class, understanding what's important. And of course, we may just have to pray and engage in devotional activities to our best capacity. Pray for the Lord, pray for His mercy, for the mercy of the devotees. And maybe in one sense, one way or another, keep going. And then we have, of course, the example of is that these fathers from Greece, Aesop's fathers, so what is it called? Aesop. And in case there's an example there, the hare and the tortoise who compete. You're going to have a competition in running, and the hare is so proud. I'm running so quickly. Who want to compete with me? And then the tortoise, okay, I compete with you. So then the tortoise crawled on in some slow way. And the hare ran very swiftly, but then he thought, oh, it's nice, let's take a small break. And he fell asleep. But the tortoise didn't fall asleep. He kept going. And then see, he was successfully. And it's a hare overslept. So we shouldn't oversleep, okay? That's enough. The alarm clock starts to ring, and then you can put it in snooze. But then we should be careful that when our alarm clock starts to ring, that we take caution and action. Okay, you're 50. Only 5 years more, you're 55. But still, is 60. And then 50. I was told the 40s is old age of youth. 50s is youth of old age. When you're 60, I'm sorry. No way. But the crazy thing is that still has been televised. That's a crazy thing. And then you get 60, and then just another 5 years of 65. They're still quite young. And then you had another 5 years, 70, and then you know, take it up. Okay, Hare Krishna. Keep going. Keep chanting and associating. And take notice of the signs. The other question.
Hare Krishna. You said you must take sannyas before it's too late. Why somebody takes sannyas? It's not enough to just live like sannyasi, or just
That's what?
just to live like sannyasi and not to.
Very good. Don't worry. Just keep going. Live the life of sannyas. Dedicate body, jnana, prayasa, and sense. Well, devotees give up mental speculation, materialistic speculation, I could say. Don't worry about taking sannyas. Just dedicate body, mind, and words to the narrations of the Lord, to the service of the Lord. And that way you will conquer the unconquerable world. But it is mentioned here, sannyas traditionally is mentioned Vanaprastha also. So, now it's perfectly fine, just stay as you are, but dedicate your body, mind, and words to the service of the Lord. And that means the hearing and chanting and music specifically. And then other things also we do. We need some practical engagement. That's mean we have this young youth. Body, we want to do something, do it. I mean, if you can do something for Krishna with the body and bodily strength, great. But if there's nothing in here, you should be there. So, yes. Now, sannyas in ISKCON is very much for the sake of preaching. For the preaching has a great sense and a great thing. So that if it supports your preaching, we can say if it supports your preaching, and spreading Krishna consciousness good, otherwise it's not very important. Important is that the soul dedicates itself to the service of the Supreme Soul, and that is not dependent on external, it is still a kind of external designation. Okay? Good. Hare Krishna. Good. Time is over. It's Sunday. Great day for self-realization. And it's a sunny day. And we can watch the sun and say Hare Krishna. Surya Narayana Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sarvabhauma Ki Jai.
Jai.